Good. That was really helpful, Terry. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Welcome to this week's Meeting Investors Forum. As usual, let's start off with the leadership team standing up and introducing themselves.
Vincent, I chair the membership committee, and I'm also in charge of this.
Good morning, everybody. Terry Deal, membership recruitment.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Scott. It's a closed meeting today. You know what I do.
Thank you all. Please be seated. Despite the fact that there's fewer leadership team people standing up, there's no truth in the room that people are resigning. We have a full we'll continue to do so. And if anybody says I'm lying, right. The Performance League is the first thing we do. So Scott, you're on.
As I said last week, we wrapped up June. We're in July now, so I can announce the winners for June. Third place, 153 points scored, was by me. So well done, me. Thank you. Second place was Howard, 180 points, but the winner, as predicted by last week, was Terry on 200. So apart from the Performance League around, if you've got a thumbs up next to your name, it means you've performed better than the benchmark that we expect. So well done to you lot. Well done everyone.
Now Scott, don't sit down, because it's the education.
You've got a treat this week, not just one education slot, but two. One really stupid one to balance out the slightly geeky one I'm going to do in a second. So, quite aware, this could go down in history, along with the Alan Shaw put a brick in your toilet system. I thought I'd do something practical. Put loads of these in my house. If you just fold all four of them in, and then push the sides, and give it a squeeze, and then just take one of those flaps, tuck it in. Look at that, a neat and tidy breakfast cereal collection. That's what we do in our house.
Yes.
Not everyone does that. Not getting good.
Sorry, point of note, can I interject? I know it's slightly unusual in Edstock. That doesn't resolve your muppet of a daughter just ripping the bag.
No. You can't change it.
I might have checked that there were cool things in there.
They are not cosmetics, they're trained.
Chocolate film So that's silly one out of the way. I thought I'd talk to you this morning about Google Alerts as my head slots. It's a really fantastic free service that I think everyone should be using. I'll give you a couple of real life examples of how I use it and why it can be a benefit to you guys. So what is it? If you sign up for the free service, just log in with your email account. You can set up an alert watching different keywords. So the obvious easy one is you put an alert on your own name. You can see, as Google finds new content that gets released, who's talking about you, where and what are people saying. So you should at the very least be having a Google alert for your own name. And fairly obviously, your business name as well. But why not extend that just a little bit further? Plug in your wife or your partner's name and your kids' names to see what they're up to. Depending on the age of your children or whatever, you might be surprised. So there's some obvious easy ones, but it is really useful. From a business point of view, I have always plugged in my key staff members. And I've managed to catch one of my employees setting up another business and stealing clients from right under my nose and doing some side work. So we had a chat, we resolved that one some years back, but it's useful to see what's going on if you plug your staff members' names in. But what about your competitors' names? You are the first person to be notified by Google that your competitor has released a new blog post or has got someone saying something really positive or really negative about them, you can understand and deal with that as well. Pick a street name, your competitors' names, or even key search terms. So the things that are relevant to your business that people might be asking, if you plug that into Google, you can be notified either instantly the second Google finds it, just pops an email to your inbox, or you can get a daily roundup, or you can have a weekly roundup of all those terms. So Google Alerts is brilliant. You should all be using it. Just go to google.com/alerts and sign up. If anyone's got any questions or wants any advice, give us a shout. I'm happy to help.
Thanks very much, Scott. Paul, could you do me a favour and try and get a plastic bottle, please? Yeah, thanks, Scott. I prefer the first, but yeah, that's good. Right, we move on, and as long as we move on to any membership matters, Terry, have you got anything for us today?
Nothing that I want to share with you at the minute, thank you.
Right. In that case, we do start moving towards the first major part of the meeting, the 60-second round. Your chance to... Oh yeah, thanks very much, Paul. Right, before we go into the 60-second round, I'm going to send the business card box round. You all know what you should be doing with that and what you should be checking. And I'm also going to be sending plastic pins round so that we can put our referrals, etc. into that. Right, 60-second round. Your chance to highlight your business, but only in 60 seconds. Vincent is our timekeeper, and he does that after 50 seconds, and he also does that after 60 seconds. Right. James won the Oscar, and he will be awarding the Oscar today. So he will, as usual, go first, and then be followed in the usual course of things. So, without more ado, James, you first, and Emma, you follow.
Well, James from RMK General Insurance Brokers. As I said 100 times already, we can do most things. But today is something particularly close to my heart. Pubs and restaurants. The market out there is a little bit dicey for them at the moment. A lot of insurers are pulling their capacity. Most brokers will only have one, maybe two accounts to place their business. So if they are unlucky and they're the ones affected by it, we're seeing increases by 200-250% through some markets. They're just trying to get rid of the business. They don't want it, so they're just throwing silly cards out there. But if they are with a broker that doesn't have any other option, they are stuck. So if you know anybody that runs a pub, goes to a pub, restaurant, hotels, anything like that, we do have access to more markets than the average broker. So send them my way, James, RMK Insurance, General Insurance, but particularly likes pubs.
Thanks, James. Emma, you're followed by Mike Skinner.
Good morning, everyone. Emma Taylor of Keller Williams, not your average estate agent. It's quite a big week in my business for me this week, which I'm very excited about. I've taken on a new 4-bedroom property yesterday in Billericay, which will be coming to the market at the end of next week. They have been on the market with another agent, which I don't like, since January, and I'm very excited to be able to help them. We've devised a marketing plan. They're very excited, I'm very excited. We're going to get a brand new advert up for them and do all the pictures and everything. We've got a media day with the lovely Mike today to do a promo video for my business and Billericay as well. And I'm sponsoring a school. We've got a school fete on Saturday, which I'm hoping will be, I'm just really looking forward to painting rocks and being a child, really. So that's very interesting. What I would ask is if you know anyone who is struggling to sell their property, I would love to have a chat with them. I believe that I can really help, and normally it's something as simple as changing up the advert. So Emma Taylor, Keller Williams, thank you.
Thank you very much, Emma. Mike, you're followed by Kieran.
Rolling off. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. One of my favourite types of videos to put together is interviews. This is when owners or employees of a company are in front of the camera talking about what they're doing on offer. And as mentioned, this is what I'm doing with Emma today for a real estate business, and what I was doing at the weekend for a display team at Great Yarmouth. And the reason I love it is it lets people show their passion for their business, what they find exciting about it, and what they want people to know about it. And that comes through so well on video compared to other formats, because they can be describing something whilst it's being visually demonstrated to them on the screen. That positive engagement sticks in people's minds, and hopefully when they approach the company to find out more, they're already familiar with who they're dealing with, and it takes away a lot of the initial reservations of walking into an office, not knowing faces and that side of it. So I'm looking this week for people who know and love their business and want to sit down and share some of the best parts of it with their potential customers. If you know anyone that sounds like that, please pass me their details. That's Mike at Blackwood's Media.
Thanks, Mike. Kieran, you're next, and you are followed by Sarah.
Morning everyone, Kieran Peaty from Studio 40, the architect for the group, and this week I am desperately trying to get ready for a holiday that I'm going on next week. And for all of you that I've said I'm going on holiday, you may be able to tell that I'm extremely excited about this. So what I'm going to say is no referrals please for the next week. I'm not interested, I'm on holiday, our office is going on. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks very much, Kieran. We share your excitement. Your return. Sarah, you're next, followed by Matt Barry.
Good morning, Sarah Steele from Better With Money, providing financial education in the workplace, mainly through doing educational webinars for employees. Now at the moment, we know that interest rates are still relatively low. Base rates at 1.25, could be going up again, but inflation is high, at around 9%. And what that means is, for those employees that do still have enough money to save, people are looking to invest so that their money keeps pace with inflation and they're not losing the real value. And there's lots of people who, other than in their pension, have never invested before. So we've got a webinar called A Beginner's Guide to Investing, which is all around what is a stock, what is a fund, what is a portfolio, how do I manage risk, and that is one of our most popular webinars at the moment, because employers can't afford to give pay rises, so they are trying to find other ways to keep their employees happy. So if you know any employer that doesn't want to give pay rises but wants to help their employees, point them to us, Better With Money. Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah. Matt, you're followed by Toby.
Good morning, everyone. Matt Barry from Blue Seraph. It's that time of year where we like to inspire the next generation. We have got a couple of young students coming in over the next month or so to start their work experience with us. It's something that we're really passionate about. We are also looking to create a unique creatives work experience program locally. Something that we've been talking very closely with the council, but that's taking a bit of time to get off the ground due to sort of lack of funding and things like that, and I've just got to go around haggling people for money. But in the meantime, we are really excited. So the first one, Poppy, is coming in for 2 weeks, and she's going to be learning more about the business, but also we'll be exploring her creativity and seeing how we can inspire her onto her next step of her career and her education. So that's what we're all about, as well as getting lots of money from our normal plans. So that's Matt from Blue Seraph.
Thanks, Matt.
Poppy is my dog, but it is also known as a girl's name, funny enough.
Right. Thank you for clearing that up. Toby, you're next, and you'll be followed by Stuart.
Good morning, everybody. Toby Acton, Business Growth and Development Specialist. I've talked a lot about motivational maps. I talked about it in my 10 minutes last week. That should be it. I've talked about how they're used for individuals and businesses, helping understand employees. They're also used in a lot of other areas. They're used in for children for making career choices. We actually have a youth map which we use in schools. They're also used in relationship counselling, not an area I particularly want to get into at all. Marriage counselling, also used for family counselling. You know, when kids don't understand their parents, parents don't understand their kids. Why can't you be more like your brother? When they do the motivational map, they understand more why people are different. So I'd like to be put in touch with relationship counsellors, marriage counsellors. Like I said, I don't want to do it myself, I can collaborate with them. Anybody involved in any of those areas? That's Toby Acton, Sales and Marketing Guild, helping people understand each other.
Thanks, Toby. Stuart, you're followed by Vincent.
morning, everybody. Stuart from LG Networks. I want you to explain to your business associates that you know a bloke who can get the internet anywhere. That's me. Let's picture a scenario where Mr. A Farmer decides to rent out a bit of his farm and turn it into a little business park. Okay, but he goes, oh, I've got terribly bad internet. It's not good enough to be able to sell that out to my tenants. We can come in and we can look at lots of different scenarios where we can deliver high-speed internet. The first thing we'll look at is getting in a private, dedicated internet service. Okay, so we'll get a survey done and we'll assess the cost of bringing that in. Quite often, even though you may be off-grid, those installations can be free. If they're not, and they're particularly expensive, we can look at other services. We can look at 4G and 5G wireless mobile-based services. We can also look at wireless lease lines, which is where you look at those big masts with the big bass drum things on the top. Yeah, we can come off the top of Canary Wharf, top of One Tree Hill. We can cover pretty much all the Essex from that area. So if you know Mr. A Farmer who's struggling with his internet, please come on to me, Mr. Stuart at LG Networks. Thank you.
Thanks, Stuart. We are having a Q&A rather than a 10-minute presentation at the end. So before we carry on, we'll just be looking out for one question or you all have one question to ask. It will make the Q&A much more exciting. Stuart has just gone, Vincent is next, and he's followed by Terry.
Morning everyone, we are one of the best printers in the world. Let me prove that to you. Here's some testimonial boards. It's great having people saying you're great, because it's much better than saying it yourself. So here's one. I've worked with Vince many times and he's a superb business partner for two reasons. I didn't write this, he wrote it. Firstly, it's the quality of his work. It's always professional, always on time, very competitive on price. Secondly, it's Vince himself. It's great to deal with someone whom you get along with so well with. It's really nice to stop by when I am in the area to catch up with Vince and have a few laughs as well. I wouldn't hesitate to recommend Vince if you're looking for a professional service from a very decent man. He'll bring you happy. Thank you very much.
That's Vincent, with whom we all get along. Thanks, Vince. Terry, next, followed by Gordon.
Yeah, good morning everybody, Terry Malin, TM Law. I had a client last week who was owed some money, small business, very much like a lot of you around the table, and it was made up of loads of invoices and he just let it go like a lot of small businesses. He was being very nice, he didn't want to bring the hammer down, blah blah blah. So I wrote a letter of claim and I claimed, as well as the amount he was owed, £2,500 compensation on the invoices. He was shocked because he didn't realise that these individual invoices you can get compensation for on each one. So we got him, not only have I got his money back in full, we got him an extra £2,500 and I'll charge him nothing like that. We also got him interest. Sarah was saying about the base rate, 8% plus base rate, so we got him 9% interest on it as well. He was over the moon, didn't get charged anything and made a bonus on the money he was owed. I'm not saying leave your debt so you can get compensation, but if you know anyone that's owed money, please give them my details and I'll be delighted to make sure that I get them the same deal. Thank you. Terry Malin, TM Law.
Thank you, Terry. Paul, you're followed by John Hammond.
Good morning, Paul DeLue, Redvine Limited, we're a communications agency and we help businesses communicate clearly and effectively. Straight after this meeting, I'm hot footing at home and I'm logging on to an online training seminar. Lots of professionals. And I'll be sitting through that hour and a half, but I won't be listening. The reason for that is I know what's going to be said because everything in that seminar has been created by me. Now, I'm not an expert in what that business technical aspects are. I took the information they had and I turned it into something that people joining can learn and understand from. It's taken a lot of work. It's all pre-recorded videos of different presenters, but I've crafted those with the help of Mike who did the video. I've crafted those into really engaging and interesting presentations, and it's been a labour of love over the last week. So, if anybody wants to do any sort of fun, interesting online training, perhaps for clients, very happy to help. Paul DeLue, Redvine Limited, Communications Consulting. We help you communicate clearly and effectively. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. John will be followed by Tina.
Good morning, everybody. As you should know by now, I'm John Hammond from Airmate Technology. We deal with all your security needs. One of the things that we're doing at the moment is a lot of automatic gates and barriers for the schools. It is amazing the number of companies out there that have been installing gates and barriers and aren't doing it right. You're meant to force test the gates so no one can get injured. And it's especially important in schools because you can't stop kids running through gates. And the problem is, if they get crushed, there's going to be a major lawsuit. Not only is the kid going to be injured, which is the one thing, but you're going to need telly. It is dead easy to do it right, but it costs. And this is where these cowboys come in. The force tester we use is £2,500 to actually test the force on the gates to make sure no one's going to get crushed. So if you want it done right, you've got to go to someone who's actually prepared to do it right and spend the money on the equipment. And that's us. So that's John from JMH Technology, applying technology to security.
Thank you very much, John. Tina, you're full of Scott.
Good morning, everybody. My name's Tina. My company's called Liberty Executive Services. Summer is here. So I'm looking for anybody that's going on holiday but doesn't want to close their office down because they may lose new clients, or they've got clients that they know they're going to be on the phone. So if you know anybody that needs support as it's the summer season, pass them my details, I'll be happy to help. So that's me, Tina, Liberty Executive Services. I'm not a 9 to 5, I'm start to finish.
Tina, Scott.
Good morning, everyone. I've got Scott from SEO. The content is ready with every I dotted, all thoroughly edited, all typos spotted. The photos are taken so crisp and so clear, ready to be shared with visitors far and near. But all this great content won't matter a lick if the gorgeous site crumbles at the very first click. The site must have scale, it has to have speed, it must be secure if the site's going to succeed. With SEO hosting, you get all this and more, so when it's time to go live, you know what's in store. Your site's been onboarded and tested and cached, standard with traffic, not once has it crashed. Firewalls and malware scans have got it locked down tight. Your site can be backed up anytime, day or night. WordPress web development works like a breeze, so you can grow your business, drive revenue with ease. It's not just hosting where SEO thrive. Web design of all kinds, websites and budgets, we keep them alive. So whatever your project or budget or idea, give SEO a call, we'll make the font clear.
Thanks, Scott. Neil, you're next, followed by Mike Hickson.
Morning, everyone. Hi, my name's Neil. Welcome to Essex Business Forum. I've been your greeter for the day. I hope you've all had a wonderful meeting. Right, Neil from Millennium Event Catering. We're in the summer, so obviously it's all barbecues, buffets, and breakfast for Terry. This week I'd like to follow on from last week. I'd like to personally thank everybody that followed my instruction to pop onto Google and give us in any event catering a review, because we lost all our reviews when we rebranded from Peckish to in any event catering. So thank you very much to everyone that done that. Anyone who hasn't worked that out, that's me being sarcastic, because nobody left us a review. So a second push out there for everyone. If you've had a salt beef for breakfast, for barbecues, me anything, right the way down to a beef Wellington, please feel free to pop on Google and leave us a review, and next week I can give you a genuine thank you. Thank you very much, guys. See you all next week.
Thanks, Neil. No pressure then. Mike Hickson is followed by me.
Morning everyone, Mike Hickson from Meditate Systems. I employ 5 technicians, 1 software developer, 1 administrator, and I have 2 co-directors. We offer network and cloud security, IT hardware and software, on-site and off-site backups and disaster recovery with business continuity, IT help desk and Office 365 subscriptions. The largest network we supply covers 100 plus endpoints, and the smallest is 1 individual PC in the bedroom of someone's house. I've been working on IT for 30 years and I've seen enormous changes over that period, but the one constant throughout that time is that IT breaks. And when it breaks, it needs fixed. So if you know anyone with broken IT, remember that really favourite expression, I know a man who can. Mike Hickson,
Thanks, Mike. Thanks to TM Law. Terry talked about that. He frequently berates clients with not knowing who their client is, who they're contracting with, individual partnerships, companies. distinguish between a trading name and the company's name with a limited on the end. If it's a limited company, particularly if it's an individual trading as a limited company, if it goes bust, you won't be able to sue the individual. The company will go under. So you might not be able to chase the individual unless you put something in place. There's something in place that you need is a director's guarantee. If there's a new company joining up with you, why shouldn't the director enter into the guarantee with a new company? You should have one. I will provide a one-off template for a director's guarantee for £250 plus VAT. Recommended. And Paul.
Paul Booth from Brooklyn Coach, Chartered Public Accountants based in Brentwood. I saw a self-employed client yesterday. His business has recovered since COVID, and he was making profits of just under £50,000. So as a self-employed person, he's paying a lot more tax than a limited company. So about just a saving alone on national insurance of about £3,700. So we're going to convert him to a limited company, but it's all about timing because he's got his remortgage coming up next year. So if he does convert to a limited company, that could affect his mortgage and the interest rates he's paying. So we'll wait till next year, then convert him. So I'm looking for self-employed people who are making very decent profits. But probably should do a limited company. People from Booth & Co, minimise tax, maximise wealth.
Thanks, Paul. Right, that's the end of the members' presentation. James.
As always, thank you everybody. A couple of special mentions. Emma, just with energy and what we said about this, and working with fellow members as well. Really good to hear. We had Matt as well, inspiring youngsters. I still don't know what I want to do when I grow up, so thank you for doing that for people, and that's fantastic. Mentions for a different reason, we've got Terry for cheering at the thought of children getting injured. And just a brutal sarcasm from Neil, love that. As much as I don't like to do it, because it's a set of precedent, people want to spend hours on their presentation, you can't ignore a poem that's
You cheated, you just chatter.
James, thanks very much indeed for doing that. Scott, well done. The one thing about the poem, although it isn't the thing that you should be automatically within the Oscar, it does show that the person spent the time to put the effort into it.
Copy of notes.
Right. That's, I think, the end of the 62nd round. Meeting secretaries report.
Right, we are officially now entering holiday season. If you don't attend a meeting and you don't tell me, you score negative points on that nasty performance league. But if you remind me, I write it down, and it says on the sheet you're on holiday, you don't lose any points. So if you've got anything planned, do let me know. If I mess it up and you spot that I messed it up and March was absent when you're actually on holiday, let me know as well. We can change it so you don't go negative. So that's that. Money recorded. Last month we recorded £20-something thousand across the whole month. Today we've recorded pretty much that, 22k just today. So we're on catch-up time. If you have forgotten to record the monies you've recorded, or you just had a big load of invoices paid or whatever, then do include them because it's great. That's exactly what we want to see. It means we're starting to get back to where we were pre-COVID. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Scott. Synergy team. Paul.
Yeah, we've got the B2B stroke finance professional synergy team next Tuesday, always second Tuesday of each month, at 4:20 p.m. at the George and Dragon. It's going to be a nice day, so we're going to sit outside. It could be 31 degrees, so I'll send a reminder out by email this morning.
Thank you, Paul. Right, no 10-minute presentation this week. Just passing you on. Next week, the Ed slot is Ben, and it's max 10 minutes. Right, that's all you need to know. 60-second round of John. You've heard everybody, you've listened to everybody. Questions to be asked. Matt, you go.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
When you do your
Not guilty.
okay, when you do your testing of your chili scales, do you use any instruments or is it based on human testing?
What, for how hot a chili sauce is? Right. There's only one of our sauces that we have Scoville tested, which is the official heat scale test. There's only one of those sauces we have tested, which is the silent sauce, for obvious reasons. Just in case you have to put a warning label on the bowl, which we've spoken to you about before, because it's ruthless. It's ruthless. We don't use a piece of kit for that, we use a laboratory, because it has to be done under scientific surroundings. And so the equipment we would use would be cold hard cash. About £250 plus VAT, so hence why we only test the one bottle. We've actually got the silent sauces with the laboratory now. We should have that result in about a month, and we expect it to be high, like one of the highest in the UK, which then becomes a USP, and we'll blast that everywhere because the amount of people in the country like, oh, you need that, will mean we get extra sales. So,
So how many bottles do you have?
I've got 3.
Have you tasted it?
I haven't gone for the silent. I haven't had too many enough beers yet.
I look forward to the text.
To be honest, even the Naganade had a little bit of a kick. It was more than I was expecting.
That's like a 2 out of 10 compared to the silent sauce, which will be about a 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah, Buffalo was good.
You see, all those chilies are Nagas or Scotch bonnets, but the silent sauce is a Reaper chili.
Yeah, I'm waiting to release that one.
But the flavour's great.
Anyway, that was Q&A.
Right, well, that's the explanation of the burning bottle syndrome. Terry.
Emma, I was just wondering, you said about a house being on sale in January, and so why? I mean, I thought the market was hot, blah blah blah, so selling for the right price, and why is it so?
Do you know what? The photos are absolutely awful. They look like they've been taken on a mobile phone. The description's awful. The people have already bought another house. The chain free, it doesn't mention that anywhere in the advert. They've not had proper feedback from anybody, which I always try and get people at least like price specific. You know, okay, if you're not looking to put an offer in, at least what would you pay for it? If I'm honest with you, I just think it's a larger agent that takes on lots of property, puts them on the market, waits for the phones to ring, and doesn't really proactively market. So we provided a new plan and we were very excited. So watch this space.
John?
Terry, how long do you wait before you actually go for legal action on late payment?
Well, first it depends on what your terms say. So if you send an invoice that says it's payable now, once it's overdue, you can pay it once. So if you're
after 30 days.
Yeah, if yours says 30 days, when the 30 days is up, you might politely give them a call and say, where's the money? I've waited a month for it. And then if they don't respond, then you send it to me. And I've been not quite so polite. But then I can demand your money and the compensation of the interest. Not because it's in your terms of business, but because the law says so. You don't have to put it in your terms of business. So if you come to me and say, Terry, here's an invoice, it was due in 30 days, it's now overdue. I've spoken with the client, and we'll pay it. I can then write to him and demand the amount, your own compensation, interest. And then that's DEFCON 2. DEFCON 3 is going to court, obviously, and it gets a bit more serious then.
Most of them pay them, eventually make anyways.
Can I jump in on, because my question's very much related. Do you have a minimum amount that is worth your while to chase money up on? Because most people I know would be interested in that. The jobs are sort of £500 to £1,000. Is there enough value in that for you to?
Yeah, if it's business to business, right, and now mentioning the compensation.
No, this would be business to customer as well.
Yeah, if it's business to customer, it's more difficult because you can't charge that compensation.
Right.
So that's more awkward. So yeah, I mean, depending on the level of debt, if it was someone around the table that do it for, silly money, but it's not punitively expensive. They haven't got their money back. But if I did a letter plan for an individual, how can I explain this? It's a lot more complicated. I've got to send a pack. I've got to send a letter, which is simple, but then I've got to send a whole pack. A financial questionnaire, this, that, the other. Tell them to go to CAB, all kinds of touchy feely stuff, right? Which is what you've got to do if it's an individual. So you're a business going after an individual. So that obviously ramps up the cost, and it gives them an opportunity to respond in 30 days, filling out a form of reply. So that obviously all that increases the work to do. So that's why the cost is higher. So to an individual it might be 100, 150 quid, which sounds a lot. So no, you've only done a letter. If it's a business to business one, it's like, you don't pay, this is what we're going to do. It's literally one page. And attached to it is your invoice and also the list of what we want in addition. So business to business is much easier and worthwhile doing. You've only got to have one invoice outstanding, 40 quid, haven't you? One invoice gets you at least 40 quid compensation.
Even business to customer, it's not as much as I thought it would be. It's still.
Yeah, so business to individuals is harder because of that. We've got to write this. The pack ends up going out like that. Even just posting it costs you 2 or 3 quid without producing it. And then they've got a reply. And it's. Of course I'll do it, but I'm saying that obviously there's a cost to that.
Yeah. When you say individuals, does that include self-employed?
If they're self-employed doing it in the course of business, no. Business is business, no matter what the aims and how they're trading. But it's just if someone owes you money as an individual, it's more difficult.
Thanks for that.
All sorts of options.
Toby? Sorry.
Sure. I'll send you a picture. What is it? Right. Is that something to do with 5G?
Where is it?
What's that, sorry? Obviously this means nothing to anyone else.
What's the thing on the right?
Yeah.
That's a cup. The tall thing on the right.
Is it something to do with 5G?
That's a 5G.
Okay.
Great deal.
You can send it to the group if you like.
My question's for James. James, you're talking about insurance for pubs. How do your quotes compare for the insurance companies that are dedicated to the food and beverage industry and also then offer discounts on top for being members of certain governing bodies?
We've got specialist markets that deal almost exclusively with pubs, restaurants, entertainment venues, that kind of thing. So although we are not an entertainment specialist ourselves, we go to an insurance company that are the specialists. So they're the same insurers that are giving those quotes to the governing bodies, memberships. And although the brokerage takes a commission, so whoever you're a member with as well, they'll get an outcome, so cash. We write quite a lot. So if we weren't competitive, we wouldn't buy as many as we do. And as I say, with the market being the way it is at the moment, those membership bodies will only have one insurer because they focus on one insurer because they can get the maximum reach from doing that. So if that one insurer is trying to go out the market or just trying to balance their books because they're being hit, so their premiums will be slightly.
Do you then approach for example, like the pub management companies, even the smaller ones, that sort of hand out the management, independent management, so sort of over-operate on a franchise basis?
I suppose if we were quiet for long enough, we'd maybe do that kind of thing, but we haven't this year.
So at the moment you're just fishing for the end?
Yeah. People come to us at the moment, especially because they get the renewal in, and once they get people themselves off the floor, they then grind the business honestly. So
Thank you. My other thing I was going to ask is, where's Kieran going on holiday that's made him so freaking happy?
Just outside of this country.
It's
just away from this. Not you guys, obviously. Boris Johnson.
Where are you going?
I'm going to New York.
Right. Sorry, this is not a question, this is a statement of budget. don't really look after a lot of business mobiles. Just for everyone, and I'm saying this because we're carrying up to holiday season. Off the back of Brexit and everything, all right, there's been massive changes on what data you can use overseas. Okay, and what you thought used to be the norm has almost certainly changed. The other thing that they've done is under the veil of Brexit and blaming Brexit, they've also changed a lot of their long-haul internet. So nothing to do with Europe. Okay, the Americas and everything's changed as well, and you find that there's been an awful lot of changes. So what I was thinking is, if you haven't been abroad for a couple of years and you're tootling off this summer, just check with your provider what you've got now in your package, because it's almost certainly different to what it was. It's probably changed and become a lot more expensive. And just check the settings on your mobile phone as well when you're going away. Particularly, there's one setting to look out for called Wi-Fi Assist. Okay, so if you're using that abroad, it's a system whereby your mobile phone will connect to your hotel's Wi-Fi, which is great. But if it looks at it and says this Wi-Fi is a bit flaky, it's not very fast, I'm going to jump onto the data network. Okay, so often you can think you're on the hotel Wi-Fi, but you're not. Okay, and we've had some of our customers come back with pretty scary bills because they thought they were on the Wi-Fi, but their phone has gone onto Wi-Fi Assist and used the local data network without really knowing. Okay, so just 2 bits of advice: just check your package before you go, because it's almost certainly changed. Last time you went to New York, or last time you went to Spain, or it's almost certainly changed since you were there last.
Is it O2 that have said they're not going to reintroduce roaming charges for Europe?
Yes, yeah, O2 and both of them. But they've changed, for instance, their fair usage policy, things like that. But they said, there's no change in fair usage policy. It's dropped right down. It used to be loads, it's a lot less. There's loads of different areas. It's hugely complicated. I don't think anyone will. Just check the providers exactly what's covered.
If you get a message when you land in Europe that says you won't be charged any more than you're charged in the UK, is that true or is that?
There's so many different. I mean, I would not take that as gospel. So I'm off to the States now. I've gone in exactly what I've done. I've changed tariff for all 4 of our mobiles that are going out. I could have stayed on the tariff I've used, but it was hugely expensive to rather just move on to an international tariff for the month I'm out there. So just check what we've got.
Thank you very much, Stuart. I'll think of the question that you've answered, but excellent. That's brilliant.
Question for Scott, and possibly others as well. So I've just left a 5-star review on Neil.
Blessings, thank you.
But that's fine. The only thing I think your house is on there.
It does, because that's the registered address for posting.
So I was wondering if there was any way to be on without having your personal address on this. Obviously, if you've got and that keeps things.
No, it's a real grey area. It's a problem, and the reason having those reviews has a real positive boost to your ranking. And in the Google policies, you have to have a physical address at which someone can turn up and engage and do business with you and knock on your door. So for lots of us, me included, that work from their home premises are technically not supposed to be covered. Because I couldn't just knock on the door, walk in and have an appointment. So about 50% of those Google profiles shouldn't really exist. But yeah, you've got to put a pin on a map somewhere to make that happen. Lots of companies try and get lots of different multiple locations because they've got a PO box in central London and they want to show up there. Yeah, you can. You've got to have a proper physical address.
If I'm not mistaken, Scott, as well, you when you put that physical address down, Google verify it by sending you the Google postcode code.
Absolutely, yeah.
The code in it, and then you register that code. Hence why I can't put the production kitchen down as the address, because it's on a huge farm. So there's no guarantee that postcard would actually make it to the kitchen. Food delivery is not a problem, so they just drive in. The postman could drop it anywhere and no one whoever gets it might not recognise that.
So I've got clients that have got multiple locations throughout London and home counties just to try and get their business showing up on the Google Maps for that reason. And their competitors have gone in and complained to Google, closed them all down, and you get wiped out. So you've got to be careful with it.
Wasn't there also an issue that you couldn't have more than one business registered at an address?
But somewhere like Paul's office, for example, who is a registered office for probably hundreds of companies, you can do it, but you have to specify Suite 1A, Suite 2B, or whatever, because there are business centres that do house lots of people, but they've got to be unique. But the important part is whatever you put into your Google profile, that address with the capitalisation and the commas and exactly how you put that wording, that's the address that you need to use across the internet if you want to rank and make it work. If you've got a comma in the wrong place, or you don't capitalise the letters in your postcode and all of that, that starts to work against you. But if they're identical, then it can work.
What you were saying about Google, we had theoretically Google phone up complaining that our website says we were open 24 hours and sort of saying that it was all locked up when they went there. Our argument was the engineers are in there, they're on call.
And interestingly enough, remember registered offices it is your registered address, and it's very relevant for all sorts of legal things. If you've got to serve a document, that is where it will be served. So if you get demands and things that might lead to court action, might lead to striking off, if you've got the wrong address down or an imprecise address, then you can get caught up in those sort of problems as well. So, anyway, Mike?
I've got a question for finding yourself called Terry. If you want to find financial information about a company that approaches you to do business, if you go on the company's house, the information is very, very basic and doesn't really give you enough information to make a bad decision. Where else can you go to get that sort of information?
Credit safety.
Yeah, do they give you information? Do they give you a 4 out of 10 for credit?
Yeah.
You've done that for us on twice.
James.
It's got to be at least profits of 20k, 25k. Obviously, limited companies do have limited liability, which is important in many circumstances, as Aidan said earlier. There are lots of benefits and differences in between. So if you're a self-employed person, but you've got an expensive car, and you want to keep running that car through a limited company, if your profits are only about 25k, it's worth staying as a self-employed person because the tax costs of running the expensive car through a limited company more than outweigh the other savings. It's taxed in a slightly different way, but yeah, I'd say 20-25k normally is not massive.
I was thinking a lot of people that are trading nets, and they're only doing that because they've always done that. And when they started off, they were just themselves taking windows, whatever, and now they've got a big company they haven't taken things out because they're too busy doing what they do on their basis. So
it's going to be tax labour, especially with the cost of living, as it is.
Matt, last question.
Vince, soft touch or matte laminate?
Well, there's gloss laminate as well.
Yeah, that's...
To do mobile disco cards. I like soft touch with a solid black or solid colour background.
Depends on the soft touch. Depends on the thing.
Yes.
I like matte laminate.
Thanks very much, mate. That's what I was hoping for.
Right.
So much that's the name I saw him under on my mobile phone.
It's funny, I only say that was soft mat.
I'm going to ask the final question. How many ministers have resigned since we've been open?
5.
5. Yeah.
You know the pensions list?
Yes. Our MP resigned last night.
Alex Burkhardt. Did he? Yeah, because I was last night.
Yeah, rats deserting a sinking ship, you might think, but maybe it's just as well that they're all gone. I'm sure the company will run itself. Absolutely fine. Right. Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you all for participating in the Q&A. I like this session. Very informative. Thank you for that. Let's move on to referrals and testimonials. Do we have a volunteer? Right. Referrals and testimonials. Oh, Vincent. Here's our runner. Yeah. Okay. Start with Paul. Work round.
Yeah, I always enjoy the session and excellent Edstrop. Thank you. Got some thank you for money, Harold, Scott, my colleague, and the was good.
Yes, that was fun, wasn't it? We were at Harry Scott for the left side. Try that on the cereal box. A little one last week. All hours, a little get together. Lovely after hours. So, yes. Small but perfect thing meeting. And what I'm doing on the enthusiastic meeting.
Oh, beautiful. You should get it again next week. I've got to train Sarah next week to take over.
Always nice to start the day with a cuddle.
I didn't get cut. No. Brian said we had to, so I was there. I left my free hut sign in the car, but James moved.
Yeah, the amount of pieces a little bit better this week, so I better write a poem, haven't I? Yeah, good meeting. Looking forward to this week.
Good meeting with Edstrop. Thanks for that. Great questionnaire. Really enjoyed that. Nothing else to report.
Back to that.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. I've not done one of these Q&A before, so that was very thank you. I was going to say thank you to Ben and Nick, who's done some work for me, but they're not here, so I'm just going to sit back down here. Thank you. Thanks so much.
Thank you for the money to Jane, who's got here. That's it. Great 10-minute presentation, everyone.
Yeah, great meeting everyone. Great Edstrop. Love the cereal box thing. We also use a clip as well that goes on the bag just to ensure a bit of their tightness and freshness with the cereal. But yeah, whatever. That's just me. Great meeting. There's a thank you for money for missing their cook, but again, he's not here. So. See you in a few weeks.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Great Q&A. I'm going to try that. Let's try that. The problem is it doesn't resolve the mess that's inside. Anyway, Phil, James, we spoke briefly. So yeah, just give me a call.
Have you got time for
Yeah, okay, we'll do that. Lovely, thank you. And one-to-one for someone over there, for Scott. Not for Scott, actually. Scott's over here.
Sorry.
That's Scott.
Once you point out
there. Not one-to-one, it's thank you for the money. And I've got another one-to-one for Paul Booth. Just because of what I wrote on there.
Well done, thank you.
Splendid meeting. Really enjoyed it actually. Actually, when you mistakenly on the grocery shop buy one of those ones that's that size of a small wardrobe, you can cut a lot around the top. It still works as well. Great meeting. This is Scott. Thank you, Scott. Thanks for the money. Sorry? That's a referral to that one. Which is already done and dusted, that's brilliant. And then, not really thank you for the business, but just thank you for being there, specifically to Scott, Matt and Sarah actually. Sarah last week texted me, called me after the meeting, she said, thought, break down and whatever. I wasn't, I was just sweetly crying, but I really appreciate kind of camaraderie and whatever, and also from Matt and Scott, who helped support me through some tricky times with a client recently. All is good, but sometimes you just need someone to rant to or to give you a virtual hug. So thank you guys. See you all next week. Thanks so much.
You're right, Paul, by the way. Look a bit down.
Oh, great.
You're right, it's like you are.
Anyone got any hand sanitizer?
Yeah.
Referral to Vince. Got some printing, which we talk about during the week. Thank you for that. Also, I'm off to see Jane at the weekend with the kids doing a tasting, making, eating session. So I should report back next week, but really looking forward to that. And thank you for all those showing the money things.
Thanks, Vince. Sarah?
Cheers. First of all, that has transformed my life. We don't need clips though, it doesn't last long enough. It's like straight out. Anyway, I want to say thank you this week to Terry and Paul, who have assisted me in buying my first buy-to-let property up in Liverpool, which is very exciting. And also, Terry, I know I keep talking about it, I have one client who owes me 4 invoices. This is it. This is final chance. You're getting the gig. So, so thank you, and great meeting. Thank you.
I use plastic containers as well. Much
You don't throw the plastic container away.
Yeah, we keep the plastic container.
Yeah, it's like a diet. Someone's got to make it.
We tear a bit off the packaging. You take it from. Sorry.
Oh, I forgot what I was going to say.
Great meeting. I've done referral for you for signs for CBRE. I don't know if they're going to come direct or come through us to get them done. Thank you. Because you did the last one before, but I thought if you went direct, then you might get more business. Thank you, sir. And I've got to thank you for the money for Brian. It's not it.
It's on holiday.
Yeah, because we did this along before we went away. And I thank you to Colin for the money for Goldberg Homes, and he's not a Colin.
He's still a member.
He's a member still, isn't he? Okay, well.
Toby, I've got James, that's right.
Never ever.
Brewery, would you be interested in talking to? A friend of mine has set up a tap brewery, so they'd be brewing that little snack. It's a Lee Brewer over in Lee, funny enough. Tap room. Powerful Tina.
Thank you.
I'll go back in this direction. And testimonial, thank you for the money, testimonial for Neil. A wonderful breakfast, thank you very much.
You're most welcome. Thank you. I've got, which one's do I send out? The white one? Okay. That one's from Kieran. Please. Maybe we can do a swap see, you know, it's all beef, pitch in the jam or something. Thank you very much indeed. This one is for Tina.
Thank you.
This one is for Mr. Balloon for our soon, very soon to start project. Thank you for the cereal box trick, sir. I opened up a new box Special K the other day, so I'm going to try it since I get home. So thank you very much. Great poem, great everything else. Thank you very much, and thank you very much, Mr. Vince. That's me done. Let's
Yeah, our cereal boxes have recently started to look like that in the cupboard, so you obviously follow the same person on Instagram that my wife does.
Yes, pretty much, yeah. Sorry, a few
Is it Mrs. Hinch thing or something like that?
It was about 6 months ago I saw it, but I've been doing it ever since.
Would you refer us to visitors?
No. There's an activity form that goes on.
Okay. Anyway, Stephen, hopefully you'll join as a member because he's done a really good job for me, great guy. Google Alerts. Do you know, I've used them for years. Never even thought to use my own name. But I'm going to do that. I'm pretty boring, but who knows? And got a one-to-one with Bradley afterwards. And Neil, put a link for your reviews onto the that group, and then we'll all do it.
Thank you for the advice.
So you know what?
Just a referral for Bradley, who was here last week. He sent something around with done deal. And thank you for the money to Alison Dean, who sent her up to you all. Just a bit of work back, printing all these for us. Right, that's nice. Obviously, didn't have these on it. And now, after shaking all your hands, I'm going to loop up.
We sit down. Can I throw one more in a review for Neil, because I've just done one as well.
Questions, thank you. Yes, don't forget, give me a review, you get points. Points.
No, that's the
No, you keep that.
Right. Someone keeps starting.
The green goes,
Bring us to Scott.
the white one goes to Neil,
That's the one.
and the blue one you keep.
If I just 50-50 every week, I think I'll get it right, but it never works.
Thank you very much for doing the running. We have a new concept of misdirection for our runners, which will no doubt prove really tedious in about 3 months' time. Thank you all for a great meeting. Before I close, I throw the meeting open. Thanks.
Just there was a lot of chat about pubs and drinks and stuff. I don't know if anyone's been to the Peasants Revolt. Yeah. They have a fantastic selection and they're changing all the time. At the moment, and it was you, Terry, that just reminded me of that. They've got some cracking beers from Lee and Southampton. There's some lovely beers on tap there, and they're changing all the time. So it's a lovely little place just to pop in for after work. Yeah, it's just it's on King's Road, so just by the station in Bradford.
But it's bloody expensive. So it's about
Yeah, it's like a pop-up bar, effectively. It's good though.
Where's the pop-up?
Well,
No, I did it. It used to be the wedding shop at the top of the King's Road, Queen's Road Round, right? Yeah, it's there. It's famous.
Vincent.
It's just that I don't want to end on anything negative. I just want to know there's not many people wearing their badges. There's only for those that have not one, it's for excuse, but those who have come off with badges. It's all about the just metal now before we close.
How do we get one?
Brian,
Yours is on order. Brian, that's when new members join. Brian, it takes a month or so.
You'll get like
You might see that.
And you come sparkers.
Right, you've had your fun for the day. Time to go. It's going to get. Yes, Mike. Sorry.
One quick question for the technical guys down there. If anyone knows of any independent consultants specialising in Microsoft Teams that can give us some systems and training and consultancy for customers who are queuing up to get on Teams and you just can't trust them for 2 months.
I know of an organisation.
Let's say organisation.
Called Cobweb. They do it as a managed service though. But I think they're probably they offer it and then do the training with it. Yeah, I think they're more. So no.
Okay. Once again, thank you all. Great meeting. It's going to get brighter. It's going to get warmer. In fact, it's going to get hotter. Looking forward to the synergy team meeting next week, and I'll see you all next week.